Let me tell you a story. By the year 2010, Amazon dominated the ebook market, pretty much running a monopoly. They had sold up to 1.5 million Kindles and had signed up the 6th largest book publishers in the United States. The same year, Apple launched the Apple iPad and sought to eat into Amazon's market share. The only problem was that Amazon had created a pretty complex relationship with the publishers that it would take something pretty genius to dislodge them. I'm Winnie Kisache from Monkey Pesa, and today we're going to take a look at a masterclass in negotiation. Amazon had a deal with all the 6 big publishers where they bought their books for $13 and sold them at $9.9, a $3 loss. The alleged plan was to hook all of them such that they could go back in the future and negotiate better terms. Despite Apple intending to launch a much better device than the Kindle in the iPad, they simply couldn't outcompete Amazon on price without making an even bigger loss. Apple had on their side a bigger potential customer base, a better, more well-rounded and versatile device, but most importantly, a master negotiator at the top. So, how did this go? Steve Jobs viewed Amazon's policy as predatory and was determined to trample it. He wanted to sell ebooks at $14.99 a piece, earning $4.5 per book. All that was left was convincing the publishers that this was a good deal. Well, he started by presenting a proposal to all 6 publishers that ebooks be sold at between $12.99 and $14.99 on all platforms including Amazon. In exchange for accepting this deal, they'd get access to a 120 million large customer base that was already registered to iTunes. With just this proposal, he landed 4 out of 6. The stumbling block, though, was the biggest of the bunch, HarperCollins. They simply refused to comply. They were happy with Amazon's deal. So how did he get them to come around? Jumping 2 years into the future, Apple and the publishers faced a lawsuit for price fixing. The lawsuit revealed that it only took 2 emails to get the HarperCollins executives to turn around. He first and foremost positioned his idea as a win-win for everyone. He made it clear that Amazon's strategy of selling at a loss was not sustainable. Both the people selling the ebooks and the publishers had to make a profit. That way, the distributors could potentially invest in better infrastructure for distributing, which would make the ebook business more profitable. It suited everyone and was more sustainable. He then went on to present not working with Apple as a loss for HarperCollins. At this point in time, it was estimated that Amazon had sold about 1.5 million Kindles. This was in an 18-month period that the Kindle had been on the market. To quote, he said, "We will sell more of our new devices than the Kindle ever sold within the first few weeks that we go on to sell. If you stick with just Amazon, Sony, etc., you will likely be sitting on the sidelines of a mainstream ebook revolution." Now, HarperCollins had to take a second to think about their fate if they didn't get on board. Would they still be able to maintain their number 1 spot? He in this case used data and analyst estimates to drive his point home. Steve finished off his email by creating leverage. As you might remember, we earlier mentioned that Apple had already signed on 4 of the big 6 publishers. This made them quite powerful in the ebook space. He told HarperCollins that they were looking to also open the door for smaller publishers after the launch. The last line in the email goes, "Once we open up things for second-tier publishers, we'll have plenty of books to offer. We'd love to have Etsy among them." He created a situation where HarperCollins were in the minority. He straight up refused to bend to any of their demands and showed a willingness to walk away from the deal. Long story short, on 26 January 2010, one day before the Apple iPad launched, HarperCollins was signed into iBooks. A few fundamentals of negotiation were used here that you can implement on your own. Here are 7 negotiation tactics to improve your chances of winning. Number 1, anchoring. When negotiating, start from a very high point when selling or low point when buying, and that will make your final offer look more reasonable. For example, asking for 25% above the value of the item you're selling would make 5% above value look more reasonable. Conversely, offering 25% below the value of an item you're buying makes a final offer of 5% below look more reasonable. Either way, you've got more value than you would have if you started with the actual price of the item. Number 2, loss aversion. Humans place more emphasis on loss than equal gain. It's just in our nature. If there was an equal chance of you making $100 gain if you sell today versus $100 loss if you don't, you're more likely to sell even if there were a chance that you could make a gain if you hold onto your item. The fear of making $100 loss today is bigger than the hope of $100 gain tomorrow. Number 3 is specificity. Studies show that people consider precise numerical representation a show of deeper knowledge. Scratch that. Studies show that 98.4% of people consider precise numerical representation as a show of deeper knowledge. Now, I admit that I made up that stat, but it's an example of specificity. It makes it look like I actually tried to find that information even though I simply made it up. Disclaimer, we at Monkey Pesa neither recommend nor condemn made-up stats or fabricated data. Do your research, that was just an example. Number 4 on our list is reciprocity. Create feelings of indebtedness towards yourself in your counterparty. Give a free service to them, offer a gift. If you negotiated over coffee, pay for it, send them an expensive bottle of their favorite beverage with a thoughtful note. This creates feelings of indebtedness. Humans don't like to be in debt, and it's very likely to get you that final concession you're looking for. Number 5, make it a win-win. You must never try to take all the money in the deal. You must never try to be the only winner. Always make sure the other person wins too, and it's a show of good faith. By the way, I've got a question for you. Do you think this information is useful? Well, if you do, and it's your first time here, why don't you subscribe? That way, you can keep getting this free knowledge to apply to your business. Also, we usually give away free resources on this channel, like this marketing handbook. If you don't subscribe, well, I'll say it's your loss. Number 6 on our list is forced empathy. Every negotiation involves emotion. To be a master negotiator, you've got to be able to control the flow of events. One of the ways you can do this is to frame questions in a way that causes your counterparty to be reasonable. For example, as opposed to emotionally responding to an unreasonable demand, respond with a question like, how can we both win here? Induce the feeling of being in it together. Number 7 is be prepared to work. The sunk cost fallacy has led so many people to making bad deals. Always ensure that you go into negotiations with multiple options. More options give you more power in a negotiation. So many people get trapped into thinking that because they have spent so much time building or working on a deal, it's too late to walk away. Well, it's never too late. Do not concede to anything added late in a negotiation. If it's added late, it's there by design. Walk away. If you found this video helpful, then give it a thumbs up. Also, visit features.monkeypesa.com to learn more about our joint inbox software that's designed to improve your communications. Until next time, thanks for watching.